At the start of the episode, we see a girl named Nao, who finds a 100 yen coin lying somewhere. Instead of keeping it, she goes all the way to the police station to deposit it. Even the police officers are surprised. Who is this honest these days that they won't even keep a coin they found on the road? This girl is what people call an honest fool. Everyone always calls Nao that, but it doesn't bother her at all. Her father named her Nao, which literally means honesty. Soon after, a package gets delivered to Nao's house, even though she didn't order anything. Inside the package, she finds a black envelope. It says that out of millions of people, Nao has been selected to participate in the liar game. There's also a box in front of her. When Nao opens it, she's completely shocked. It's filled with money. The total amount inside is 100 million yen, which is around $650,000. There's also a tablet in the box, and a voice starts playing. It says that if you're hearing this message, it means you are now an official player in the liar game. This 100 million yen has been given to you to play the first round. Nao doesn't even know what the liar game is. Anyway, the rules are simple. Just like Nao, her opponent will also receive 100 million yen. Nao has to somehow take that 100 million from her opponent. She can do anything to get it, even steal, and it won't be considered a crime. As soon as Nao is informed about her opponent, the game begins. The game will last for 30 days. At the end of those 30 days, whoever has more money wins. When the game ends, an agent will come to collect the original game money. That means Nao has to return the 100 million yen she was given. On top of that, whatever money she manages to take from her opponent, she gets to keep. So if Nao steals her opponent's entire 100 million, all of it becomes hers. But if her opponent takes her 100 million, then Nao will fall into a debt of 100 million yen, and she'll have to pay that amount from her own pocket. Hearing all this, Nao's mind starts spinning. Not because she could win 100 million, but because she could end up in huge debt. She doesn't understand who she should talk to about this. The only family she has is her father, but he is suffering from cancer and doesn't have much time left. Nao wants him to spend his remaining days peacefully, without stress, so she decides not to tell him anything about the liar game. After this, she goes to a lawyer for advice, but even he refuses to help. He says that Nao hasn't suffered any loss yet. In fact, she has received money. Nao then thinks about going to the police, but the lawyer warns her. If you go to the police, they'll confiscate the 100 million yen. And when the agent comes to collect the money later, what will you return? Maybe this is exactly what the organizers want, that you deposit the money with the police and end up in debt. And since they are the real owners of the money, they can easily reclaim it from the police. Nao realizes this is basically a scam. She asks the lawyer who she should talk to. The lawyer replies that no one understands fraud better than a con artist, so she should consult one. But just then, her consultation time ends. To continue, she would have to pay 15,000 yen. That night, Nao can't sleep. She keeps thinking about what this liar game really is and why she was chosen. She keeps checking her money again and again, worried it might get stolen. The next morning, Nao receives another envelope. It says her opponent has been selected, and his name is Fujisawa. Nao knows him. He used to be her teacher, and he seemed like a really good person. She believes he might help her. Nao goes to meet Fujisawa. He tells her that he doesn't think this is a real game where anyone actually wins money. He explains, what if Nao's money gets stolen tomorrow? She would assume her opponent did it and might try to steal his money too. In the end, both could end up with 100 million yen debt each. Nao agrees with him. Fujisawa then suggests that they should keep their money somewhere safe, because it could be stolen at any time. Nao takes him to her house, and they confirm that her money is still there. Fujisawa says he has already placed his money in a bank locker, and asks Nao to give her money to him so he can keep it safe too. He promises to take full responsibility until the game ends. Trusting him completely, Nao hands over her entire 100 million yen. She doesn't realize at all that Fujisawa has tricked her. Feeling relieved, she finally sleeps peacefully. The next day she receives another letter showing the game progress. It says Fujisawa now has an extra 100 million yen, and Nao is already in 100 million yen debt, meaning she is losing the game. He says the organizers are trying to create conflict between them, and they need to trust each other. He even questions her trust. Nao, being naive, says she trusts him completely. She even goes to his house to apologize. But there, she overhears him talking to someone. He proudly says that he has already 100 million yen. His opponent was his former student. So foolish that he stole all her money and she didn't even realize it. He calls her a big honest fool. Hearing this, Nao is completely shattered. She goes back home and breaks down in tears. Now she finally understands what the liar game really means. The one who lies, wins. Nao realizes she must get her 100 million yen back. Then she remembers the lawyer's advice. If you need help with deception, go to a con artist. After searching online, she discovers a genius con artist named Akiyama who is being released from prison the very next day. He was jailed for scamming a corrupt company. The next day, some reporters are gathered outside the prison. They're there to take an interview of Akiyama. Suddenly, a prisoner walks out, but it's not Akiyama. The police tell the reporters that Akiyama is a master of disguise. The person who just walked out was actually him. Hearing this, all the reporters rush after that man. But in reality, Akiyama is still there, disguised as a police officer. Nao is also running, trying to find Akiyama, and she accidentally bumps into him. She tells him that someone has deceived her and stolen her 100 million yen. Akiyama calmly replies that he can't help her and tells her to go to the police or a lawyer. Nao insists that only he can help her. Akiyama then says, "I just got out of prison after serving my sentence, and you want me to help you steal back 100 million and send myself right back in?" With that, he starts to leave, but Nao keeps following him. Trying to get rid of her, Akiyama says, "Stand outside this shop. I'll put my stuff away and come back to hear your story." Nao obediently stands there. Hours pass, from morning to evening, but Nao doesn't move from that spot. When Akiyama returns and sees her still standing there, he's genuinely surprised. Just then, two guys start bothering Nao, but Akiyama steps in and scares them off. Nao hasn't eaten anything all day. She hasn't even sat down, just because Akiyama told her to stand there. Akiyama says, "After an hour or two, you should have realized I lied. You really are an honest fool. That's exactly why you got scammed." Nao then tells him everything about the liar game and says she just wants her 100 million yen back. Akiyama sighs and says, "Alright, let's try asking your teacher for the money." They both go to Fujisawa. Nao asks him to return her money. Fujisawa calmly replies that the money is in a bank locker and can't be withdrawn on a holiday. Nao then reveals that she overheard his phone conversation, how he bragged about tricking her out of 100 million yen. Akiyama steps in and says, "Return the money, or we'll report this to the police." Fujisawa smirks and says, "Police? Where do they come into this? The rules clearly say you can do anything to take money from your opponent." Akiyama responds, "So you admit this game is real and you still stole 100 million from your own student?" At that, Fujisawa bursts into laughter like a madman. "Yes, I tricked her. So what? That's part of the game. Anyone in my place would have done the same. You can't trust people." He continues, revealing his past. "I used to be in charge of school trips. Every year, I booked the same travel company, and they gave me a small commission. But one year, they refused to pay, so I threatened to switch companies. In response, they exposed my commission deal to the school, and I got fired. My family left me too. That's what people do. You trust them, and they make a fool out of you. That's why I have to win this game." Nao, holding back tears, says, "My father has cancer. I just want him to spend his remaining time peacefully. If I fall into 100 million yen of debt, it will break him." Fujisawa snaps back harshly, "I don't care at all. Your father can go to hell. I only care about myself. Just forget about your 100 million. With nothing left to say, Nao and Akiyama leave. On the way back, Akiyama mutters, "Doesn't look like that guy was ever a teacher. Money really changes people." Then he starts thinking strategically. The money is locked in a bank locker. Fujisawa himself said he can't withdraw it on holidays. There are 23 days left in the game, and the final day is a Sunday. That means he'll have to withdraw the money on Friday, 2 days before the deadline. And those 2 days are our only chance to steal it back. Akiyama looks at Nao and says, "Don't worry, I have a plan." Nao feels relieved and happy, hearing that Akiyama is finally willing to help her. But Akiyama adds one condition. "I don't want to get involved in real crimes. But this is just a game. And if I help you, you'll have to follow everything I say. And I won't do this for free. Whatever money we win. Let's say we even take Fujisawa's full 100 million. I'll keep 50 million. After a moment of hesitation, Nao agrees. After this, Nao goes to Fujisawa's house and tells him that she is now going to take the liar game seriously. She says she won't just take back her own 100 million yen, she's going to take his 100 million as well. After saying that, she leaves. Nao has finally decided to fight, because crying won't solve anything. And now, she has a powerful ally, Shinichi Akiyama, a genius con artist. Nao asks Akiyama about his plan. Akiyama replies that they only need to do 2 things to get her money back. First, she has to clearly tell Fujisawa that she's going to play the liar game seriously. Second, they will keep a 24-hour watch on him. That's the entire plan. Nao goes and tells Fujisawa everything and starts keeping an eye on him. One day, when Fujisawa is returning from the market, he sees Akiyama standing outside his house. Akiyama tells him that he will now be participating in the liar game on Nao's behalf, and that he plans to take all 200 million yen from him because he has a perfect strategy. Hearing this, Fujisawa panics and quickly runs inside his house. He notices that a car has been parked outside his house for a long time, with Nao sitting inside it. Suspicious, he calls the police. As soon as Nao sees the police arriving, she runs away. When Akiyama hears that Fujisawa called the police, he just laughs. Then, Akiyama rents the house directly across from Fujisawa's place so he can monitor him 24/7. Nao starts thinking that Akiyama might actually be a good person. At first, she was scared of him, but he arranged everything, even their shifts, so she can still visit her father in the hospital. She wonders why he's helping her. Akiyama replies that no one is going to offer a decent job to someone who just got out of prison. If they successfully steal all 200 million yen, he will keep 50 million. For 1 month of work, that's not a small amount. As they keep watching Fujisawa, a week passes. They notice that earlier he used to go out for shopping, but now he just stays inside his house all the time. Nao starts doubting the plan. She wonders how just watching him will help them get the money. Akiyama explains that it's actually a very simple strategy. Before trapping your prey, you first scare them. No matter how smart someone is, once they're afraid, it becomes much easier to defeat them. In simple terms, they are breaking Fujisawa mentally. He tells Nao to imagine herself in Fujisawa's place. Her opponent has declared that he will win at any cost. He has also claimed to have a perfect plan to steal 200 million yen. On top of that, Fujisawa knows he's being watched 24/7. Nao looks across and sees Fujisawa sitting in his room, clearly stressed, wondering what they might do. Suddenly, he notices Nao watching from the opposite house and immediately shuts his window in fear. Akiyama says his condition is already starting to deteriorate. As time passes, his stress will only increase. Nao still asks how they will actually get the 200 million yen, since it's supposedly locked in a bank locker, and they don't even know which bank. Akiyama calmly reveals that the money isn't in any bank at all. The entire 200 million yen is inside Fujisawa's house. Nao is shocked. Akiyama explains, "Think about it. If you had 200 million yen stored in a bank, and someone was watching your house 24/7, what would you do?" Nao says she would leave the house and go somewhere far away, since the money would be safe in the bank. Akiyama then asks, "And what if the money wasn't in the bank, but hidden somewhere else?" Nao replies that in that case, she would never leave the house and would stay there to protect it. Akiyama nods and says that's exactly what's happening. It's strange that Fujisawa hasn't left his house at all, even under so much pressure. That means the 200 million yen must be hidden somewhere inside his house, and he's too afraid to leave it unattended. Akiyama then says they should increase the pressure even more by making Fujisawa believe that they already know the money is inside his house. At this point, 16 days are left until the end of the liar game. Fujisawa's mental state continues to worsen. He stays in one room almost all the time, which likely means the money is hidden there. But it's not fully confirmed yet, since he could have hidden it in multiple places. Even now, Nao still doesn't tell her father anything about the liar game. 10 days remain until the game ends. Fujisawa is sitting in that same room when suddenly he hears something burning inside his house. Smoke starts spreading, and he can't figure out where it's coming from. Panicking, he calls a friend and says, "There's a fire in my house. Can you come and put it out?" His friend replies, "If there's a fire, call the fire department." At that moment, Fujisawa notices Shinichi Akiyama and Nao standing in front of him. Akiyama reveals that the fire sound was coming from his speaker, and the smoke was also created by them. "If there was really a fire," Akiyama explains, "you would have immediately run out to check where it started. But you didn't even leave this room. Instead of calling the fire department, you called your friend. That means this room is more important to you than your own life. Which also means all 200 million yen are hidden right here." Hearing this, Fujisawa is completely shaken. Akiyama continues, "We already knew the money was in your house, and now we know it's in this room. If it were somewhere else, you would have rushed there first." Fujisawa suddenly starts laughing and says, "You're right. The money is in this room, but even then you won't be able to steal it." He shows them a heavy, secure safe where all the money is locked. He claims that only he can open it, and it's so heavy that they can't even move it. "Your plan ends here," he says confidently. Seeing this, Nao starts crying, thinking they'll never get the money back. Fujisawa coldly tells her, "Go home and think about how you'll repay your 100 million debt." But Akiyama just smiles and says, "Did you really think showing us your safe would scare us? Let me tell you something. I can easily open this safe and take the money." Hearing this, Fujisawa gets nervous again. He immediately sits in front of the safe, guarding it. Nao and Akiyama leave. On the way back, Akiyama says, "See how unstable he's become? When people's thinking doesn't match with others around them, they become uncomfortable. To cope, they start believing even things that might not be true. Fujisawa thought he could scare us by showing the safe, but seeing my confidence, he started doubting himself. and even believed my lie that I could open it. When a person's confidence breaks, they become very weak. Nao realizes and asks, "So you lied? You can't actually open the safe?" Akiyama replies calmly, "I know how to get the money out. I just can't tell you yet." Nao has no choice but to trust him. Meanwhile, Fujisawa's mental state keeps getting worse. He sits in front of the safe all the time, thinking nonstop. How will Akiyama open it? Does he know the password? Even if he does, he still needs the key. Will he try cutting it open with a torch? Will he try to steal the whole safe? He even chains the safe from all sides and sits there with a knife, guarding it obsessively. But Akiyama, watching all this, just laughs. Seeing Akiyama's confidence, Nao still has hope. Otherwise, she might have gone insane, just like Fujisawa. Now only 4 days are left until the game ends. Fujisawa receives a letter stating that the game will officially end in 4 days at exactly 5 p.m., and an agent will arrive at that time to collect the money. That means Fujisawa just has to hold on to the money for 4 more days to win. Nao receives the same letter and asks Akiyama what they should do now. Akiyama replies, "The same thing we've been doing. Watch and wait. Don't worry. I'll cast a little magic spell. When the time comes, that safe will open on its own." Days pass one by one. Fujisawa never leaves the safe. Nao's anxiety keeps increasing. Will Akiyama's magic actually work? Time keeps running out. Now, only 1 hour is left before the game ends. Nao realizes she's about to lose. She runs to Fujisawa, crying, saying Akiyama has disappeared and she doesn't know where he went. He had promised to open the safe. Fujisawa starts laughing. "I knew it. You were never going to open this safe." Nao begs him, "Please just give me my 100 million back." Fujisawa refuses coldly and even pushes her to the ground. Then he shuts the door and starts watching the clock. Outside, Nao keeps crying and shouting. Time runs out. The clock hits 5 p.m. Fujisawa has won the game, and the 100 million yen. Nao has lost, and now she is burdened with a 100 million yen debt. Just then the doorbell rings. The agent has arrived to collect the money. A man is standing at the door, claiming he's from the Liar Game Tournament, LGT, and that he's here to collect the game money. Fujisawa happily invites him inside. "Oh, you're the collector? Come in, come in." He confidently opens his safe in front of him. Inside are the full 200 million yen. The collector says he needs to check the serial numbers on the bills to confirm they're genuine. He takes out all the money and begins inspecting it. Fujisawa asks excitedly, "So I really won the 100 million, right?" The collector replies, "Yes. Once I finish checking, I'll hand over your 100 million. Hearing this, Fujisawa starts celebrating like crazy, already imagining his victory. Outside, Nao is still sitting and crying. Time passes. Fujisawa checks the clock. An entire hour has gone by. It's now 6 p.m. He asks the collector, "How much longer will this take?" The collector casually replies, "There are around 20,000 notes. It'll take time." Fujisawa goes back to celebrating, already planning how he'll spend the money, pay off his debts first, then enjoy himself at clubs, even blow 10 million in a single night. Suddenly, the doorbell rings again. Fujisawa opens the door and sees 3 people standing outside. They say they're from the Liar Game office and have come to collect the game money. Confused, Fujisawa says, "But your agent is already here checking the money." They respond, "We don't have any other agents." Fujisawa rushes back inside and is completely shocked. The collector is none other than Shinichi Akiyama. Akiyama calmly hands the entire 200 million yen to Nao and says, "You lost the game. You handed over the money to a fake agent." Meanwhile, the real agents go to Nao and say they've come to collect the game money. Fujisawa starts screaming in disbelief, "This is unfair! Akiyama took the money after the game ended. And why did you agents come so late?" The agents reply, "We arrived exactly on time. The game ended at 6 p.m. Fujisawa is stunned. He shows them the card he received. It clearly says 5 p.m. Akiyama laughs and reveals the truth. The card Fujisawa received was fake. The real one, which Akiyama had, clearly stated that the game would end at 6 p.m. and the agents would arrive at that time. The real card had been sitting in Fujisawa's mailbox the whole time, but because he never left his house, he never checked it. Now everything clicks for Fujisawa. Akiyama had been watching him constantly, building pressure, claiming he had a perfect plan to open the safe, just to keep him trapped inside the room. Then, at the right moment, Akiyama swapped the real card with a fake one in the mailbox. It was all part of a perfectly executed trap. Even Nao had been given a fake card. From the moment Nao explained how the game progress is communicated through cards, Akiyama realized it could be manipulated. All he had to do was make Fujisawa believe the wrong time. Fujisawa had become so obsessed with protecting his money that the moment he thought the game ended, he let his guard down completely. It never even crossed his mind that the card, or the collector, could be fake. And just like that, Fujisawa lost. Hearing all this, Fujisawa collapses and starts crying uncontrollably. The real agents use a machine to count all the notes. They confirm it's the same 200 million yen given at the start of the game. From that, they give 100 million yen to Nao, her reward for winning. Nao can't believe it. She immediately gives 50 million yen to Akiyama, just as they had agreed. But she sees Fujisawa still crying and feels bad. As they leave, Nao says to Akiyama, "You fooled me too. The game didn't end at 5 o'clock, it ended at 6 o'clock. Akiyama replies, "It was your genuine tears that convinced Fujisawa he had really won." Nao then starts wondering what will happen to Fujisawa now. Akiyama says who knows, but his life is going to be rough. He's now in 100 million yen of debt. Suddenly, Nao runs back to Fujisawa's house. She offers him the 50 million yen she won so he can at least repay half his debt. She asks him to promise that he will never again say that people can't be trusted. Fujisawa falls to his knees and promises. Then Akiyama also hands his 50 million yen back to Nao and tells her to give that to Fujisawa as well. Nao is shocked. "But that's your share." Akiyama replies, "Our deal was that I'd take half of whatever you win. But you didn't really win anything on your own, so I can't take payment." Nao is stunned. She realizes that maybe Akiyama never intended to keep the money in the first place. Now she finds it hard to believe that he's actually a con artist. She wants to know more about him. In the end, they return the full 100 million yen to Fujisawa. Nao quietly hopes that maybe he can go back to being the kind teacher he once was. Akiyama, however, says, "I don't think he was ever a good person." Nao responds, "Maybe his circumstances made him that way." Hearing this, Akiyama just shakes his head. This girl is unbelievably naive. Nao says she has to somehow thank Akiyama. He spent an entire month helping her, but Akiyama tells her there's no need. Still, Nao says she had saved up 500 yen from her job. She goes home to get it, but finds another letter from the liar game organizers. It says, "Congratulations, you have won round 1 of the liar game. Round 2 will begin on this date and at this location. If you wish, you may withdraw from the game. However, you must pay half of your winnings." That means 50 million yen. Nao is shocked, because she doesn't have that money anymore. The letter also says that if a player doesn't show up at the given location, their entire winnings, 100 million yen, will be confiscated. Akiyama tells her to ignore it. Just because something is written in a letter doesn't mean she's in debt. He even gives her his number in case she ever needs help. But Nao starts getting anxious again. She thinks about calling Akiyama, but then hangs up. He has already done so much for her. She doesn't want to bother him anymore. Just then, someone arrives at her house. It's the same lawyer who earlier told her to consult a con artist. Nao tells him everything, how she actually took help from Shinichi Akiyama, and how she received a letter for round 2. The lawyer advises her, "You should go to the liar game location and threaten them. Tell them this is harassment. Say you'll report them to the police. And if they still bother you, call me. I'll handle everything." Nao feels relieved. This time, the lawyer doesn't even charge her a fee. Later, Akiyama calls her back, but Nao says everything is fine now and hangs up. The next day, Nao heads to the liar game location without informing Akiyama. Meanwhile, Akiyama goes to her house and realizes she might have gone to play the game again. The game location is deep in the woods. Akiyama keeps calling her, but her phone is on silent. Suddenly, a man appears in front of Nao and welcomes her to round 2. Nao immediately says, "Leave me alone. I'll file a case against you. I even have a lawyer." The man starts laughing and removes his mask. It's the same lawyer. He smirks and says, "You really are naive. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just a guide for this game. My job was to bring you here." Nao is completely shocked. She's been tricked again. She is taken inside and given a name tag with a glowing object attached to it. Nao enters a large room where many people are already gathered. All of them, just like her, have won round 1. Then, a man steps forward and introduces himself as the game leader, Laranira. He announces that round 2 of the liar game is about to begin. But suddenly, Akiyama arrives. "I'll play too," he says. Nao is stunned. How did he get here? Akiyama tells her he'll explain later. "I'll do whatever I can to get you out of this pointless game." The dealer explains that there are 22 players in total. Each of them 100 million won yen in the previous round, making a total of 2.2 billion yen. And now, they will compete for all of it. This will be an elimination game. If a player loses, they're out, and they must leave behind their 100 million yen. One by one, players will be eliminated. The last person remaining will win the entire 2.2 billion yen. A girl nervously says she can't do this. She's weak and can't carry such a huge amount of money. The dealer reassures her, "You've already been given your 100 million. The name tags you're wearing contain a small pink diamond. That diamond itself is worth 100 million yen. That's your game money for this round. An old man asks, will the winner have to play round 3 as well? The dealer replies, that's up to the player. You can either continue or leave the game by paying half your winnings. That would be 1.1 billion yen. Now then asks, what happens to the loser? The dealer answers, just like round 1. Anyone who loses will fall into a 100 million yen debt, and we always collect our money no matter what. Hearing this, Nao and the others become terrified. Finally, the dealer announces the game for this round. Today's game is called Minority Rule. You've heard of Majority Rule. The majority decides what happens. But here, it's the opposite. In this game, the majority will lose, and the minority will survive. And with that, the episode comes to an end.